Hello, 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 hello. Magandang gabi, magandang umaga, and good afternoon wherever you are in the world. Welcome to another edition of Coach Miranda Miner's, daily news live at 10 o'clock. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to click subscribe and please like this particular YouTube live for you to be updated on all of the things that are crypto, all of the things that are actually happening today from a cryptocurrency space. Welcome, welcome. And today is a very, very special day because we're going to show today what are the things that we can do on this particular trend of Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin is currently sitting at $29,434, down at 11.04% for the past 24 hours. I will tell you what is driving that today. And everyone else actually is on a double digit regression, right? Even the past 7 days is actually almost 30% drop across the board. This is a very, very, very good opportunity for those investors. And I will tell you on later where can you potentially enter. Of course, you don't enter without a plan. And allow Coach Miranda Miner to tell you where to potentially enter and where can you potentially get a lot of profits. All right. So Ethereum is also down, currently at 1739, down at double-digit volatility for the past 24 hours at 13.04%, and also on the same trajectory for Bitcoin. I will not go through the entire gamut of the top 10 coins, right? Because obviously everyone is actually on a downward trend. Even XRP is actually down at the 0.52. This is the time where we see Bitcoin to be on the same range. Way back January, actually, we have never seen Bitcoin to be at this low. No, the last time we saw this was way back, early of this year. So we will further review the performance of the coin and what are the potential entry points that you could actually see and potentially enter. Okay. All right. So let me tell you what's happening, right? So obviously, from a trend perspective, let's try to all open that. Your trend perspective, you see that the red line, this is actually your EMA 50 or EMA 50, and then your EMA 200 is this particular line here. No? There's obviously that death cross na sinasabi nila, and let me tell you that this is quite interesting because a couple of things are happening today. Couple of things are happening today. All right. Unang-una, the reason why it's actually dropping is obviously you've seen a death cross, and the market is worried. The market is not in a good mindset. The market is really, really, for the most part, capitulating. People are giving up. But look at this particular drop in volume. Drop in price. There is no significant volume, unlike this particular volume that you see here. Okay, this is still not this is the market reacting, and let me tell you why the market is reacting. Let me tell you why the market is actually reacting negatively on this death cross. The if I look into all of the news today, guys, all of the news today, nothing is new. Nothing is new. Okay, you got to remember that media is being paid for their media mileage. Media is being paid for them to be viewed. So the media will come up with all recycled news to further reinforce the theory that there is a reason why the coin should go down. For example, you've seen a lot of China being cracked down on Bitcoin. Okay, China is actually, they're saying that there's going to be a China crackdown on Bitcoin. You're seeing a lot of that. And of course, you're seeing now people reporting Bitcoin is down, right? Bitcoin is down. And when was the last time we all heard China is actually banning Bitcoin? This was actually an old news. This is a very, very old news, right? The only thing that's new today is this guy, Mad Money, host Jim Cramer. He's actually a TV personality, and he's actually the host of an American television show called Mad Money in CNBC. And if you open CNBC today, all of their news are about negativity about the coin, right? And I think there's a lot of media mileage. There's a lot of media bad PR. There's a battalion of a PR being released today over the past couple of days, right? Obviously, media will earn because they would need views. And people who are retailers today or investors, they would look for a reason to justify their fear. They would look for a reason to justify their fear. And obviously, people are going to, react that, okay, my money is out. I'm going to give it up. I mean, it's going to be all crazy, all going to be crazy. And we are just overreacting on all of the bad press today, all of the bad press today. But nothing is new, guys. Nothing is really new. I mean, this news on China crackdown has been there for quite some time. It has been there for quite some time. Nothing is new on the China crackdown. In fact, when they were saying that they're now looking at cracking down those miners in China, isn't it that they said they will ban Bitcoin a month ago? So why is this crackdown on China all of a sudden a big news, right? Why is it all of a sudden a big news, right? So, I think it's a recycled news, and I think media is reacting on so many bad news today. But you still have some good news. You still have your Bitcoin Jesus, Michael Saylor, who's actually, by the way, buying 500 million worth of Bitcoin, although he kind of bought it at 37,000, right? The only difference there is that they're actually buying not on OTC. They're actually buying on a separate. They're buying in a different manner. I mean, if that 500 million would have been bought over the counter and would have been bought on the spot market, this particular price of Bitcoin would have been already at 40 million. I'm sorry, $40,000, easy, right? But of course, they cannot do that because they cannot be labeled as manipulating, right? So yeah, and another good news is Visa and PayPal join crypto. Venture capital blockchain capital's new 300 million fund. Yeah, PayPal, the first time the company has invested as a angel investor focused on blockchain and digital assets. Unfortunately, it has nothing. It's not adding value to the positivity of the market because the press today or the media is all gung ho of trying to create rep, a bad reputation for the coin. You know, obviously because there is a reason why they should do that because there is already a death cross. So they're gonna be all creating some different news that are recycled. Nothing is really new at all. Nothing is new there, and people are gonna be thinking about, okay, let's all create bad news because people will just read our articles. And by the way, if you create bad news, people will read your articles. That's how media works. That is how media works, right? So at the end of the day, it's gonna be the poor retailer who will uh, it's gonna be the poor retailer who will suffer. It's gonna be them, right? Because they're gonna be reacting so bad. Oh, it's gonna be the bad end of the world, and crypto is gonna be at 28,000, 25,000. I don't know, right? 20,000. So, Coach Miranda Miner, where do you think this coin will go? Where do you think this coin will go, right? I mean, where do you think, no, after all of this bad press? I mean, for me, it's quite interesting, and you guys know I've been really quite busy with the classes, and I'm very, by the way, greetings to my students. Greetings to my students. I'm very very excited for all of you, the beginners wave 4 and 5. I like that I'm hearing you're now more confident on day 2. Congratulations, and let's do that tomorrow. We'll see. That's your assignment, and wave number 3, intermediate. We'll see, right? We'll see, no. But thank you for having a great class earlier, all of you. So going back to the news, I mean, honestly, there's nothing is really new in the news, right? Like this one, China's crackdown means Bitcoin is working, says crypto miner. Like, why are you all of a sudden telling me that there's gonna be a China crackdown when this China banning was a news a month ago, right? I mean, why is all of a sudden and everyone is picking up this bad news? Obviously, they wanted to get some views. They wanted to get some insights, and that is how PR works. That is how the press works. That's how they earn, right? But if you zoom into the news, like Cardano zooms ahead as ADAX, you know, uh, ZoidPay brings crypto shopping to Amazon, right? You have all different good news, but why is the market reacting negatively? Because CNBC, there's this guy called Kramer, the madman, Mad Money, all of a sudden saying that I sold all of my coins. He said that in his news. He said that. I don't know if you know his story. I don't know if you know the story of this guy. This guy actually said, this Jim Cramer, he's actually a American television personality, and he's obviously a very influential guy because he's a host of a well-watched television show, Mad Money, and he's actually a hedge fund manager before, and he's actually a co-founder of TheStreet.com. No, so he said that I sold all of my bitcoins, and obviously everyone was like, "Oh no, what is happening?" Right? And this guy actually entered the cryptocurrency space way back. Crypto was only $10,000, and he earned almost 3x, of his current investment. Right? So why would he do that? Why would he all of a sudden do that? I mean, I don't know what is running in his head, no. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of bad press. If you open CNBC and if you open, all the news today, everyone's reporting bad press about Bitcoin. And obviously, it's all about PR. They wanted to have more information. They wanted to have all different, views because people are reacting negatively. But where is this coin going to go? So let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me show to you first and foremost what is the formation of the coin today. Obviously, you have noticed that there is what you call a downward trend. Let's look at this. There is already a downward trend on this particular trend, no? And obviously, as I've said, and my students all know this, it's actually on a sideways today, no? But on this particular sideways, this look may probably be something that's not unusual for you anymore. What are you guys seeing here? There's obviously a death cross, no? There's a death cross, and obviously the main difference on this capitulation, people giving up, is that there is no volume. There is insignificant volume compared to this first one. But let's forget about volume for now. Let's just assume that there is volume. Okay, let's assume that there's volume now. Okay, there are two types of people on cryptocurrency space today. One is a hodler and one is a trader. Question, up until when can this volatility go? Here is my prediction. Okay? Because this particular negativity has no significant volume compared to this, I'm forecasting that potentially this particular drop could be at around 28, 27K. And it will bounce there. Okay, in fact, it could probably even bounce at 29K. It's gonna be high 20,000 bounce. No, it's gonna be around this particular area at the very bottom. You're probably looking at here 28,000. This particular drop, no, this was way back. This was way back January of 2021. We have never seen this drop. We have only seen this drop as early as January. No, it's actually a 3 month, 4 month, 5 month low, right? It actually broke this resistance. Nabasag tong resistance na to. The resistance was around 30,000 USDT way back May 19. It was broken and tumuloy-tuloy pababa, and I think tatalbog yan sa 28,836, which was the support way back January 2021. I think it will bounce there, but let me tell you this, no? Let me tell you this. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. Here is what I am thinking. Okay, look at this. Okay, look at this. All right. You see that from a volume comparison standpoint, this particular view is somehow a look-alike of this. But there is just sort of a look-alike, but perong medyo baliktad. It's like a reverse, no? A reverse, no? All right. If you will notice that the major drop here, this particular drop is supported by a major selling crayon or a selling volume. No? In this particular case, tumaas naman ito. This went up because it's supported by a major buying volume. There's a major buying volume here. Okay? Listen, there's a major buying volume here. Okay. Let's do this. All right. In this particular accumulation, this is an accumulation, you see that there is a similarity of a major sell volume here. This is a selling volume. And you also see a selling volume here. Okay? Now, what I'm thinking is that This is just a temporary support bounce because there is no major volume here, unlike this two. And compared to this volume, I think there should be an outlier volume. And I think that this particular bounce is just like one of these regular volumes here. What I'm looking for this particular trend to reverse and go higher is this green buying volume. There should be a major volatility driver. There should be a major buying driver. And what could that be? Could be a very, very good news. I need a major green buying volume here. Okay? It could be a very, very good news. It could be a very, very good news. It could either also be something that would make people all look forward to. For example, it could be a very, very good uh, tweet, or it could be, there should be a major buying volume here, right? For this to further go upwards. And this could probably be telling you, you could probably remember that, Coach Miranda Miner was talking about the Wyckoff formation, the Wyckoff formation. So forget about this one for now. I'm just trying to compare it, no, and look at the volume. There's somehow a correlation. There's a narrative here, no. But assuming that, let's just assume that, okay, let's just focus at this accumulation here. This one looks also very familiar. Okay? If you look at this formation, it looks almost like this. It looks like this, no? Obviously, this was your old support. This was the 30,000 line. And I think that we are on the spring phase C of the Wyckoff event. We are on the spring phase C. We're actually trying now to break out, or the breakdown on the previous support of 30,000. This is the 30,000 line. And we're currently here today. Okay? And we're currently here today on this particular breakout. Okay? This is the old resistance. Okay? This is the old sorry, this is the old resistance. Let me just close this. This is the old resistance here. Okay? And this is broken by this red candle that's actually piercing towards, this new resistance line of 28,836. This is, I think, it looks like exactly this formation. It will try to further penetrate. And and I think the characteristic of this is the volume here is significantly lower than the selling volume here. I mentioned that before to you guys. Take a look at the selling volume here when it hit 30,000 versus the selling volume here when it hit 28,000. It is insignificant. However, it is still a selling signal. It is potentially going to bounce at the 28 to 27 or 26 line, but it will further go up higher, which is the signal of your Wyckoff accumulation going to mark up. However, for this to further go on the phase D, it should have a significant buying volume. We're waiting for that significant buying driver. Whatever that is, it should be your driver for more volume. Okay, it should be here. There should be a major candle here, that should be green. This one should be green, right? This one should be green. No, it should signal a further upward trend as big as this. No, otherwise we will still continue to do a higher low candle formation here up until there should be a major buying buying signal with a volume conviction. I think that's what's happening today. All right, because again, the volume doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any difference for me, right? Unlike here, there is a significant volatility, but you're seeing a major green, a red, and a green buying volume. But here, you don't see that. No, it's a significant drop here, but you don't see volume. Now, how do you manage this as a trader. So we're done with the macros. No, we're done with the macro fundamental view. We're seeing that macro view. You are seeing a death cross, and you are seeing a Wyckoff potential accumulation, and we are on a phase C spring level. We're just waiting for that big driver to drive the green buying volume. Okay, so what are we now waiting for now? Let's go to the technical part. Let's go to the technical part. Let's look into the potential entry point. Let's say you are not a hodler, okay? You are not a hodler and you wanted to be able to trade. How can you trade this as a Miranda student? How can you trade this as my mentee? How can you trade this as my listener? There are many ways, okay? Forget about the news. You just wanted to trade. Here's how you need to start. Number one, if you're my student, you will know that you need to zoom out first. You need to zoom out first, and then you need to, of course, look at the major fib resistance and support. Okay? The major fib resistance and support is obviously driven by one major factor, which is your point, which is your 0.618. Okay? Let us try to do this, no? Let's try to do this. Okay. So obviously, you have your Fibonacci on this area, and we dissect the area between two major sectors. One is above the 0.618 and the one is below 0.618. The one above 0.618, that's where you do your Hallmatches, that's where you do your feast method if it's above 618. Okay? I've taught you guys that if it's actually piercing below 0.618 from above, there's a potential for this particular coin to further go down. In this case, and there are so many areas where it actually tried to test the 0.618 area. In this particular instant, it tried to test, but it further bounced. And you saw a significant bounce there going up to this area further nauntog, and it further went down. Now, the case today is that you are actually below the $34,000. You're below that line, no? You're below that line, ergo, it means that you are below 0.618, and I would not encourage you guys to do your feast Hallmatchi method. What I encourage you guys to look at is to look for transition plays. What do I mean by that? No, you're noticing here that during this time, when the RSI actually tried to hit a rock bottom of less than 30 on an RSI 30 length, there is a bullish divergence. You need to remember that if the RSI is actually visiting the 30th territory, there's a lot of potential divergences, and you can enter that. For example, we had our trade play here, no? Wherein one of the indicators is that it was actually below a 0.618 direction. It actually pierced all the way down to the 0.618 from above towards the bottom. So what happened was, it went down, it broke this particular line. This is a 0.618 line, remember that. It went all the way down. However, when the candle was actually forming a lower low candle, in this case, you see this candle low, you see a lower low formation here. But your RSI 30 at 30 is actually giving you a different signal. In fact, it's actually forming a higher low, a lower high candle here. No, it is a signal for a divergence. Okay, signal number one is a divergence. Number two signal, it's below 618. Number three, you are actually seeing a potential. There is a breakout on this particular line. And if you further add MACD into your conviction, it's actually also going to tell you that MACD is already on a bullish signal here. No? So all in, you have a bullish conversion, you have a bullish crossover, you have a bullish divergence, you have an RSI 30 at 30 bullish divergence, you have a breakout, and the breakout happened, the divergence happened below 0.618. It is a perfect entry for a profitable trade. True enough, when it broke out, it went all the way up to this particular line at a 19.39% reversal. Okay, that is a 19.39% reversal. But this was a trade way back June 8. How about currently? How about today? How can you trade this as a trader? Okay, let me give you a couple of options. I wrote a couple of summary for me that you could actually use as a trader. No? So after the macro fundamentals, we'll now go with how do you trade this lower low formation. My strategy is if you are actually scalping, I want you to be very careful scalping this trend today because it's below your 0.618 line. Okay? What I need you guys to do is to start maximizing your transition play setups. I taught this in my last video. Okay, my last video that was released 2 days ago, I taught the transition play setup. And I still use Fibonacci as obviously a way to consider if it's below 0.618. And you will notice for the past 3 days that the formation of the coin has been below 0.618. I have been at 100% winning rate still. When I was playing Feast, when the formation was above 0.618, I also have 100% win rate. But when it was already falling below 0.618, I need to change my strategy. And how did I do that? No? So let me do this. You notice that the formation is actually below 0.618 in this particular instance. 0.618 is $34,000. And in this formation, the candle is below $34,000. Let's move forward. Let's try to look for a 30-minute time frame. Okay. Now, you will notice that this particular formation already broke further the previous support. Okay, it already broke the previous support, the previous support of 31K, and it's actually already going on a $28,000 direction, which is the previous support, no? And you will notice that whenever an RSI 30 is actually forming, it is actually going on a 30th direction, or the RSI 30 is going to hit the 30th direction, there's always going to be a divergence. There's going to be a divergence. For example, let us try to make sure we adjust the time frame. Okay, we're Singapore. Okay, for example, we look for a potential divergence. No, let me give you an example of a divergence. Okay. In this particular case, this is a 30-minute time frame. You're seeing that this particular candle is giving you a lower low formation. Okay. However, your RSI 30 at 30 is already kissing the 30th mark, and we use that. And it's actually forming a lower high candle formation. This was around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay. With that said, it's actually also on a major Fibonacci area before it even pierced through. Okay, how are we going to be profitable on that trade knowing that it's already below the 0.618 line? As I've said, divergences are very much available. Bullish divergences are available on your um, RSI 30 area. If the price of your equity or your asset is already kissing the RSI 30 at 30, most often you will see a divergence. And that is a very good transition play that you could take advantage. So let us do this, no? Number one, we saw a divergence. This is actually forming a right-hand pattern for my students. You guys all know that. Okay? If it's actually forming a lower low formation, but your RSI is telling you otherwise, this particular lower low can potentially reverse. And in this case, it reversed starting 8 o'clock onwards. So my trade on that particular time, I entered XRP at around 6:47 in the morning, and I entered Dodge at around the same time, 6:54 in the morning. Why? Because BTC is forming a convergence. It's forming a divergence there. Okay. So when you see that, you're confident that the other altcoins can follow a reversal of trend. Okay? So remember, during this time at around 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, RSI is actually throwing a convergence divergence signal. No? Even your MACD. even your MACD is throwing the same the same trend. It's actually throwing you the same trend. It's actually giving you a higher trend. However, your price of the candle is going downwards. So if that is the case at this particular time around 6 or 7 in the morning, I'm very confident that if I enter my altcoin will reverse. And true enough, my altcoin reversed because the trend of Bitcoin also reversed almost to a 6.65%. Okay? So it reversed and I was able to take profit on that area. That's why Coach Miranda Miner is still profitable even if it was a downward trend. You still see 2 wins here out of 2 trades. Okay? And you see that in all of my trades I've been really profitable because in all of these trades these are all the same indicators. These are all Miranda transition play setup, right? You have your RSI 30 at 30. You have your divergences, both in MACD and your RSI, right? Your candles are forming a lower low formation, right? And you have your BTC, which is your dominant coin, forming a lower low formation, right? So with that said, and by the way, this is all of this happening below 0.618 fib. With all of this available, with all of this available, you could be guaranteed that your winning rate is going to be really high. And by the way, you're actually trading on a volatile, bearish. You're trading, okay? You're actually trading, let me just write it down. You're trading on a volatile, bearish, all-time low formation. Okay? One of the tactics that I taught you guys is if it is actually volatile, bullish, and all-time high formation, I also taught you a different technique, right? I taught you how to buy high and sell higher. In this case, I'm teaching you how to buy at an all-time low formation, bearish, volatile, but you still can be profitable using this buy signals. And how do you sell? What are your sell signals? Of course, you do the reverse. You do the reverse, right? You look at the formation. You look at the formation and you look for selling signals for MACD. Of course, you see a you see a bearish cross here and you start selling at that area. No? So we are able to buy on these areas and these areas. You got to understand that regardless of what the market condition is, you could still be profitable as long as you have a plan, as long as you can plan your trades. No? You could enter and buy. There is a strategy above the 0.618 line. Sorry about the writings. I taught this in my class earlier. No? There there could be a purpose. I mean, if you are above the 0.618, there's a strategy for that. If you're below 0.618, then there's also a strategy for that. All right. So there's no reason for people to say, hey, I'm not profitable because it's a bear market. I'm not profitable because it's an all-time low. That's an absolutely wrong statement. There's always a way for you to be profitable. Sorry about that. Just by looking at potential divergences. Does that make sense, guys? No? Again, I'm not minimizing the news. I'm not minimizing it. What I'm just trying to say is nothing is new in the news. Walang bago dyan. It's a recycled news. Like people are saying, hey, there's a China crackdown. Hello? China crackdown was a month-old news. In fact, the news was banning. So why all of a sudden China crackdown is going to drive market capitulation? That is totally absurd. So what I'm just trying to teach you guys is I need you, and this is actually my trades, no, for the past couple of days, no, for the past 3 days. I've been trading for the past 3 days when it's below 0.618. You have $14 here, you have your $17, you have your $115, you have your $3, you have your $4, you have your $2 here, you have your $16 here, you have your 13, you have your 34. It is a very profitable trade because people, you need to know when to enter your trade. You need to know how to enter your trades. Right now, this is not to minimize the fact that may mga naiipit talaga. That's the reality, right? But rest assured that, based naman on ating analysis, that I don't think this is going to go below 25. I think it will go down. Yes, no, it will go down, but it will try to correct itself. And I think correction is happening real quick. You're seeing it already forming this candle, no? But I think that given that there's a massive there's a massive PR bandwagon. Hindi ko alam eh. I mean, people are actually all the news today are picking up all the bad news, and I was like, I mean, why all the bad news, right? Nothing is really negative. It's all recycled news, right? So I smell fear, which is really good for me because that's gonna be the time where I could play my trades. I could enter my trades, and I hope that I hope I have all the right. I have all the time. Unfortunately, I have 3 classes today. I need to teach. Sana maraming time si coach para makapag-trade ako makapag-trade, no? Ang sarap i-trade niya, no? 29 na, sarap pasukan niya. Looking for divergences, no? So, I challenge you, learn. My videos are available. I just released a video yesterday. Even if you're not my student, you could actually learn for free. The value of me having my student is I could answer their questions. I could really sit down with them and teach them all the nitty gritty of anatomy of a fee setup. I could teach all of them the transition plays, everything I'm not teaching here. But there's always going to be a better way on how to manage your and then by the way guys, tinuro ko din to kahapon. I also taught this, no? Okay, and again, I'll go back to this chart, no? Again, you should have some balance to enter these types of trades. You should have something, and you have something extra, no? If it's a bearish market, you don't put everything all in. Look for those areas where you can actually try to play and use your funds. Okay, now I'm not saying you don't do all the way scalping, no? I'm saying that in reverse, if it's below 0.618, you do short selling scalping. You don't do scalping buy long. You do scalping short sell. Okay. Yeah. I hope that I was able to help you again today, no, to kind of give you some lens on, I think, how far this trend can go down. I think it can go down, but following the Wyckoff model, I think it's going to be bouncing at the high 20s, maybe 27, 28,000 USDT for Bitcoin. It will correct itself. It will bounce. No, there's no reason why this coin is going down for me. The news are just recycled news. Sorry, and the PR firms are going to earn because they have people viewing their news. No? That's how the market. That's how the media is earning. Okay, so let's all read the questions today. If there's any other questions, I think we are good to go. Let me just read the questions. Exactly, and Brian is reacting. China FUD is matagal na. Exactly. This has been like a long-term news, and people are recycling the news. Diba? I mean, what is new? There's nothing new with the China FUD, diba? Okay. Congrats, coach. Galing. Oh, thank you. No, kaya nyo rin yan, guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm showing this to you as your coach because I'm showing to you a way on how to earn. I'm not trading every day. I'm trading because I also need to teach. Kasi ang topic ko ngayon, alam ng mga estudyante ko to. Ang topic ko today is trading the transition play. So I need to show to them proof of work. I need to show to them an example, no? So yun, if I could just trade more, I could trade more, right? But I don't see. Sometimes I don't trade because I don't see a setup. Hindi mo kailangan mag-trade. You don't need to trade every day, guys. You need to remember that. You're not. No one is forcing you to trade every day. If you don't see a tradable setup, then don't trade. Don't trade. Okay? Mark Anthony. I don't know what is maganda, Mark. Ano yung nakita mo? Maganda ba? Alright. Alright. Yeah, please like the video, guys. If you're learning on this video, we covered the macro fundamentals. We covered the macro, which is important, the news, which is important, the technicians, which is important. I hope you're learning here, guys. It's all one-stop shop. Okay? And this is a recorded video. Just go through it again. Okay? Ayan, divergence in MACD found in 5 minutes. Yan, do that. By the way, if you're seeing divergences, that's fine, no? But if you see a divergence in 5 minutes, that's where you also need to execute, huh? If you see a divergence in 5 minutes, you need to enter on 5 minutes. You need to sell on 5 minutes. Don't change your time frame. Okay, let's all read the questions here. Um, walking the talk. Yes, dapat. Judex, manhid na daw siya. Bakit ka manhid? Bakit ka manhid, Judex? Alright. Exactly. Recycling the news. Tama yun, Judex, di ba? I mean, paulit-ulit na yan. Minsan nga, natatawa na lang ako. And guys, alam nyo, for someone like me, I've been always looking at the news. When I wake up, by the way, no, when I wake up, um, I look at all the news. I rarely watch the local news kasi. No, for me, I just listen to the news and nothing is new. Honestly, nothing is new. China FUD is like a recycled news. Everything is recycled, and I feel that there's someone who's behind all of this. I think there's a big institution who's wanting to enter at a very low rate. Kasi wala naman pumapasok. Ang baba ng volume eh. Right? The volume does not make any sense eh. It is the retailer reacting. Okay, and please, no, please, just a word of wisdom. Please, on this below 0.618 area, please do not trade above 20 leverage. Please don't. Please don't buy long above 20 leverage. I warn you, please don't. Because if you're below the 0.618 zone, the sellers will always win. If you remember, I'm only trying to enter the below 0.618 zone on the divergences. Okay, do not fight the sellers on a 0.618 zone. That is a seller territory. Okay, that is a sell short territory. If you're a buy long person, wait for the trend to break out again to 33,000 area. Then that's when you start doing your scalping. Okay? Coach, kahit nasa baba ng EMA 200 basta may signals. Yes, that's true. Tama, that's the correct word, Daniel. If even if it's below even if it's below even if it's below your EMA 200, you can still play. Right? Your EMA is actually 40,000 level. You could still trade below, no? And again, be very mindful. You need to have many confluences. You need to have many confluences like divergences below 0.618, MACD bullish crossover. Enter your trade. No, you're gonna be profitable. Okay. Alright, kopya daw. Very good. Yes, loading, coach. May time po ba na si RSI divergence false signal? It rarely happens kapag RSI 30 yung gamit mo. It would normally happen sa RSI 14. Tapos, kapag ang divergence is nangyari, normally kasi ang divergence nangyayari yan sa RSI 30, no, sa pinakababa. Pwedeng mag-throw ng false signal kapag sobrang puro sideways formation like this. Kapag ang iyong formation is like this, sideways lang, your RSI could throw us a false signal. But if your RSI is actually crossing below major fib areas, then it's actually a downward trend. That's fine. You could look for divergences. Okay. Just give me a second, guys. No. Here, what did I say here, guys? No, and this is one of the things na sinabi ko sa inyo. There is also a bearish divergence. I mentioned this to all of you guys before. No? Take a look at this, guys. It's forming a higher high candle, but your RSI is forming low. Right? Do you remember that, guys? No? And look at what happened after that. It went down, diba? So the left hand could also happen. It can happen on a RSI 70 on an overbought territory. And your bullish divergence can happen on your RSI 30 territory. Here. Can happen here. And your bullish divergence can happen on overbought territory. You see that, guys? Yeah. So after that formation, the candle started forming, right, this downward trend. Okay? All right. So let me check some of the questions. Medyo I need to rest my voice, guys, no, kasi I've been talking since 2:30. Mga estudyante ko ng 2:30 p.m. ng intermediate. Okay, thank you, Coach, for this. Soon and looking forward to be one of your student. Yeah, looking forward, Joyce. Thank you. Kopya daw, very good. Okay, Coach, may time. Ano, sagot na natin yan. Judex, wala ka pang pakiramdam. Since 2015. Oo, maganyan na kami ni Judex eh. Kami na yung mayroong mga ilaw sa mata. Kami na yung mga wala nang pakiramdam, bahala na. Kasi, I mean, this is just the market unnecessarily reacting eh. Okay, thank you, Richard. Salamat dyan sa super chat mo. Thank you, thank you. Ang hirap mas-spot ng divergences. Hi, sanayan lang, G. Sanayan, tandaan mo ang bearish divergence nangyayari yan sa RSI sa 70 area. Ang bullish divergence nangyayari sa RSI 30 sa baba. Okay? Bihira ang RSI divergence sa gitna. Pwede, pero mas maganda yung conviction sa mga nasa ilalim. Okay, yan. Isa ka na ngayon. Dahil si Judex, diamond hands na yan. Alright, okay. Oh yeah, I need to rest na din. Okay guys, no? Okay, so it's 10:48. Sana natuto kayo today. I hope you all learned today and I hope that you learned something na we're able to cover many formations, no? And I hope you learned something today and I hope that you can continue to learn. That's my support. That's my request for you. I need you to learn, have an open mind. Learn, pakiusap, mag-aral ka. Huwag kang pumasok agad. Kung ako kuya mo, pipitikin kita sa ilong. Kung ako tatay mo, pipitikin kita sa ilong. No? So, huwag kang pasok ng pasok. Huwag ganun. There's always a plan. There's always a way to trade. No? There's always a way to trade and be profitable. Be profitable. Kaya mo yan. Kaya mo yan. There's no one, if kaya nga ni coach eh. Diba? Kaya mo yan. You just need to learn and have an open mind. Alright? Guys, with that said, iwan ko sa inyo yung ganung word. No? And of course, kung kayo ay gustong makaramdam ng konting presensya ni Coach MirandaMiner, bumili ka ng aking t-shirt. Available lang ating t-shirt sa Shopee. Look for the vendor travelgears_ph para makaramdaman mo naman ang ating t-shirt. Maganda yung t-shirt natin. Look for my post sa Facebook. But also look for the mugs. Available na rin ang ating mugs para ma-remind ka. Ma-remind ka ng mga paalala ni Coach na you need to plan your trades. Alright guys, with that said, salamat po sa inyong araw ngayon. Maraming salamat. And again, don't forget, no, Coach MirandaMiner always loves all of you. Alright? With that said, thank you so much. And I love you guys. Thank you.